Hey, good evening, and welcome to the live painting demo tonight. I am ended up doing this one. If some of you are involved in the voting process, it was a little bit too close to call, and so I decided to go with this one this week, and the other photo I'm going to work on next week. So, just going to get started here. Just kind of getting a sense of the direction and placement of the head. Her head's just slightly tilted, but not by that much. But things have a tendency to straighten out a little bit, so it's not a bad thing to give it a little bit too much tilt when I start. If this is the first time tuning in, please tell me. Either way, please tell me where you're tuning in from. And her head is tilted just back a little bit, so we're just seeing a little bit underneath the chin, a little bit underneath the nose. That means those features are going to move up her face a little bit than sort of the normal position if she was had her head straight on at us. Um, so just kind of feeling that a little bit. And what I was going to say is let me know where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me. And just going to get going on this. I think this is the simpler one of the two to paint. The other one would have been um, taking a little bit longer, a little bit larger panel. And so um, I'm working on a large painting right now for a friend. It's a picture of his son in his Eagle Scout regalia, and that's a large painting. It's taking me a long time, so I thought maybe not working on two large paintings at the same time would be that would be a better idea. Um, I think in the end, B, the other one, was winning a little bit towards the end, but I kind of had to make a decision, and it seemed like it was pretty closely split. So I don't think anyone um, will feel aggrieved if I work on that one next week. I'm not really doing any measuring at the moment, just trying to get the feel of kind of a check on things. That's not too bad. The height to the base of the nose. Yeah, look how I have her nose probably a little bit too high, which means the eyes also. Could also just move everything up, but let's see. This is the danger of just drawing away if you really want to um, have things in a very particular place on your panel. So let's move the nose down just a little. Just going to paint out those nostrils real quick so we don't get confused. Okay. And the placement of the mouth actually isn't too bad because it is kind of scrunched up towards the nose. I think if I just get a little bit of white paint in there, we'll be fine. Okay, let's see. I want this measurement, the split in the mouth. Split in the mouth. Okay, that's not too bad. And then from side to side, that's just coming out a little bit further. Okay, let's just get sort of the edge of her face. That's pretty close. Not too bad for a quick drawing. I'm usually wildly off when I don't start measuring right away. And this line of the neck almost comes straight down there. Okay. Okay, Steve is here. Um, you don't see the other option. If you go on my Instagram page, which is also AJ Alper, you'll see the choice between the two paintings. The other um, image of um, and that one I'm going to do next week. So um, it's going to really kind of, it's the same girl. It's this really wildly different kind of feel to the photos. And I guess that's partially why I couldn't decide because they really did offer like really interesting, different options. I'm going to make a conscious effort to use a little more yellow than I've been using. I've been finding that my overall my hues have been leaning. And my mom pointed it out to me. Yeah, she's probably watching here tonight silently, but she pointed out that that my painting seemed a little bit pinker than orange, um, and that it was maybe she's pointing out that it was a little less yellow than the subject matter. I try to explain to her that the subject matter that you see on the screen obviously is much different through the camera over YouTube than it actually looks. But hi, sorry I lost my connection there for a minute. Got a new router. Sorry. I got a new router, and since I thought that that would solve my connection issues, but apparently it hasn't. But I've learned some tricks to get back up going rather quickly if I'm paying attention. Sorry about that. The night is young, and I don't think I lost anybody yet. So just if you see me drop out, just be a little patient, and either I'll start a new feed, or I'll see if I can get um, whatever's causing it to stop and get it going again. The challenges of live broadcast. Yes, kind of remind kind of makes me long for the 1950s where they would go live all the time. There was only live TV. They just didn't know how to do recorded television in the early days. Okay, just okay. So I want to get sort of that sense of tension in her nose here. This is where all the scrunchy feeling is happening right in here. You have um, some wrinkles in the forehead, a little tension in the brow there, a little bit of squished in the eyes here, and just right in here, actually, really where all the action's going on is you have this central shape here, and then you have these little wrinkles coming in. And I'm going to have to um, paint that very subtly. It's very subtle in the photo. I can't go too strong there. Let's get a little bit of the highlight on the side of her nose and a little bit darker on the nostril here. So that defines it from the cheek a little bit. I want to, I do want to make sure I have a few less in the beginning, even if you can't see them so much, to kind of get a sense of where I am in the whole thing. Okay, and the corners of her mouth come down, or her lip sort of is pushed in the middle, and then down on the sides. That creates that sort of kind of angry mouth or something. I don't know if it's quite angry, but it's like defiant or something. So I'm making that same shape with my mouth right now just to get the feel of it. It's like when you're just about to punch somebody. That's the face you would make. Well, actually, the face I make is I usually would bite my lower lip with my upper teeth if I'm about to punch somebody. That's that's when my everyone knows to back away, right? It's like the body language, um, verbal, nonverbal communication kind of stuff. Just gonna rub some of this in just to smooth it out. And then I have then her shadow coming in here. This is where I need to get a little more yellow and orange, more red, just to get the darker color. I don't have burnt. sienna. I used to for a long time have burnt sienna on my palette, but I just found I have too many colors on my palette, and I can mix it, get a kind of a mix kind of quickly if I need to. And I don't really need to go there too often. Depends on the the complexion color of whoever is I'm painting. For someone for with dark skin colors, sometimes burnt sienna would help speed things up greatly. I think I'm getting the nose over just a little bit too far, or something else. Yeah, the nose is just over a bit, so it feels like it's not pointing in the right direction. Let me see if I can adjust that. Um, Sorry, I'm going to get back to the questions in the feed in a second. Um, so Jack is tuning in from South Carolina. Thank you. Says enjoy your work, learn much. James, AJ, how good are you at folding shirts compared to sweaters? Not, not sure what the question means. And if your life depended on, oh, I guess yeah, I did ask you to think of some questions. I was thinking more art related ones. And if your life depended on it, would you rather fold a shirt or a sweater? So I've been watching, God, I don't even know the name of the show. There's this new show on, I want to say on Netflix, where this Japanese woman goes around and helps people declutter their their lives and their living spaces, and she's all about like this folding everything into a square kind of thing. And so I've been now trying to figure out how to refold all my clothes in kind of different configurations. So I would have to say I'd rather fold a shirt right now because it's easier to get into. If someone knows the name of the show that I'm talking about, just type it in there. But uh, she's like the declutter master. Like she's like the Gordon Ramsay of decluttering your life. I mean, it's not quite the same idea. There's that show. Oh gosh, what is it called? Where people hoard stuff, um, and then they show you the inside of their house with like bazillion stuff. I mean, some of the people are very close to kind of having normal amounts of things. They just don't seem to figure out how to organize it. And then there's other people that um, don't let go of anything. Anyway, I don't know how I got on that subject. Thank you, James. Okay, and just see. I don't really need to what I'm talking about and what I'm painting can be really completely different things because the verbal part of my brain is off doing one thing and the painting part of my brain is doing something else, and that's fine. Often I'll put on movies and stuff while I'm painting, and my brain is perfectly happy to mostly listen to the movie and then occasionally look over at it. I think I got through Game of Thrones that way while I was painting. Most of you are just I don't know on your phones texting friends while you're watching TV. Well, I'm painting, so I'm actually doing something that's highly productive. Um, how to succeed at on YouTube or things like that while I'm on YouTube. Okay, so I need this. I have the dark shadow here, but the transition isn't soft enough, so I don't feel the form turning yet. It's just going to take a little bit of work to kind of get the right amount of um, the right edge control there to make it feel like um, it's moving back in space. That helped a little bit right there. Okay, and her eyes, the slits in her eyes look almost black, but I'm going to get a little more red in there. Just a sense of color and sort of the richness of the light that's around the edges of the lids. You usually get a little bit of red in the corner of the eyes, maybe a little bit here at the ends. And maybe I can get a little bit of black here to sort of show that there's lashes or something. Okay, and I'm keeping it very loose right now. Eventually, I'll tighten it up a little bit as I get the sense of exactly where everything is. Just going to throw down a little bit of thick paint right on the edge of the nose here. That's going to help me see that form popping out a little bit. Anything that can get me quicker to seeing it in 3D. When I say seeing in 3D, meaning not just thinking from shape to shape, but thinking more as how her forms are moving in and out of space. There's a little more red at the top of the nose, and then a little bit of red coming across the really nice highlight that's right down the middle of her nose here. And that moves up into her forehead. Okay. So slowly by slowly, I'm starting to see some of the forms pop out in this. That her top lid here is a little bit darker than the lower lid. It gives me the idea that the light must be just slightly lower than eye level. And get a little bit of tan on the top of her cheek. So this is where I want to keep a little bit more orange in here so she feels slightly bronzed. Okay, and Gabrielle is here. Um, Let me know where you're tuning in from if you can. I always like to know like where in the world people are because it always amazes me when you get on YouTube how far and wide people are when they find you. They're just really coming in from all over the place. Haven't had anyone from Antarctica yet, but just about everywhere else. Okay, and I do want to get this little um, crease in her nose right here. It's really helping define that form. And it's actually coming a little bit towards the middle. Got a wrinkle right there, and here we kind of have some of those smush lines. And then we got these beautiful highlights right here. Almost pure white needs to be. And again, all that helps me to turn the form because when I go from the light here all the way to the dark, and there's quite a bit of um, I see around the form. And I want to get a little more definition in the separation of the lips. And I'm going to get that line finer and finer because I really want the sense that they're pressing pretty hard against each other. I have kind of my furry brush right now, which is a little hard to get those kind of finer details. But I can, if I need to with this brush, I can put down a thicker line and then carve back until I have as fine a line as I need, and I can get down to pretty detailed things as long as it's not a bunch of very detailed lines that are right next to each other. But if I'm just trying to create one line, I can get pretty close to it with that one brush. Let's just get a little bit of, just scumble a little bit just to get some of the color in there. Gotta remember to go get a little bit of orange where I see it. Okay, and again I have some nice highlights coming down the cheek here and across the middle of her cheek and then down the edge, and the same on this side. Okay, Okay, let me get a little bit of her forehead in again. Quite a bit of orange in there. Let's get a little bit darker in the spot where just have a bit of coloration in the photo, and then a little bit of red along the side of her face. Make that transition just a little bit softer. Tonight, this is a student grade panel that I got on Dick Blick. I forget the name of them exactly, but um, they're sort of, they have a really, um, it's not a canvas texture, but it just has sort of this wavy, fine tooth to it. And it was a little bit too, even though it had a tooth, it was a little bit too smooth, meaning not absorbent. And so I've put a layer of gesso on it so it grabs the paint a little bit more. And it's just in the panels that I use. I don't really have a 12 by 12, and I just saw these and I ordered a bunch of them. But I think I've learned how to cut my panels pretty successfully with a handsaw. So when I need a 12 by 12, I can just take a 12 by 16 and cut the ends off, and then I'll be able to use the panels that I use for all my other sizes. Once I've used these all up, I think, and they're fine. They've been doing just fine. I just prefer the other ones a little bit more. Let me get this wrinkle shape in right here, and then it goes off up the forehead, and then it goes a little bit darker from this side. Let's get a little bit of orange and black in there to change the hue a little bit, and the same up here. Okay. Okay, and I just want to get a little bit of neck too. Let me see. Oh, Gabrielle's greetings from Albuquerque. Okay, great. Um, Steve is watching from Chicago, and and Jack is asking, discuss your color palette, please. Okay, so my color palette is similar color palette that I do, but I kind of feel like my color palette's very logical, at least for the way I paint. And I use all gambling colors. And okay, sorry, my service dropped out again. I have no idea how long I was out for, but I gave some really great comments while it was probably dead. Um, a little frustrating. Um, Yep, it seems to be. I should be live again, but I see the screen is still spinning a little bit. Um, there is a little bit of delay, so I'm hoping it's going to catch. Oh, only one person watching. Oh, ugh. I've lost some of you. Come on. Come on, YouTube. Be good. Come on. Come back on, please. Uh, okay, well, I've got a few of you back. I really hate how much technical difficulty there is with the YouTube live streams. I know some of it might be my router, but I kind of have a feeling part of it is just YouTube. That I kind of have to break the connection and put it back on before it comes on again. Um, so if someone is still there, let me know. It looks like there's two people with me still. I have no idea how long I was out for, but my guess by the number of people that dropped out is probably 5 to 10 minutes or so. Um, I've only been painting. Can come back hopefully. Um, if not, they can always watch the feed later, and not the feed, but the when I put the on-demand video, recorded video up. Okay, so I don't know how much of the discussion of my color palette I don't even know if Jack's still here. How much have you caught? But I went into the most eloquent, most beautiful description of my color palette that I've ever given, and was really happy that that was going to be recorded. But now I'm not so sure it actually will be in the recorded session. Well, I have to like put on a little. Uh, it's not going. Ugh, what is going on tonight? So it looks like I'm really having some connection difficulties. I'm almost tempted to switch over to just my cellular data service or something. Maybe that'll make a difference. Okay. So if you see me just waving the brush around wildly, I'm just trying to see if I see it in the on my screen. Okay, let me see. Michael Springer, I'm here. You are using your new monitor. Yes, I am. And Jack says, I'm back. Missed it all. I'll get it on the flip side. Well, I'm not sure how much will be in the replay because I my service went out and I'm it won't have recorded that I use all gambling and that um, my warm colors tend to be a little more opaque or semi-transparent, whereas my cool colors through violet, green through violet are all highly transparent, but all as a rule have high tinting strength. And then I have black and white, and I mix the black and the white into everything as a way of um, getting my grays, desaturating colors. And the black that I use is actually is a mixed black. That's made by Gamblin. It's a chromatic black made from quinacridone red and emerald, phthalo emerald. So get those colors right. And um, because they're both very high key transparent colors, the mixture ends up and they're exact opposites on the color wheel. The mixture ends up being completely neutral, dark black, and highly a thick enough layer, or you can just glop it on, and that ends up giving you that kind of complete black that you might be looking for in some of the shadow areas. Let's get this this light across the top of her nose. That will kind of give you that sense, a little bit of a button nose that she has. Ugh. Uh, just keep on dropping out. In service, it's a little bit out of control tonight. Have a brand new router. Thought it would be better. It's actually worse in terms of keeping my connection going. Or it may be a problem with YouTube. I really don't know. At some point, I'm going to switch over to what's it called? A webcam. I bought a webcam, but I don't have it quite working right yet. What's the deal? Why is it not it's not going? I can't get the connection. Let me try resetting it one more time. Come on. You can do it. Come on. I don't know what to do here. I'm going to try going to airplane mode. Okay, it says I'm live, but I somehow don't believe it. I'm just going to keep on painting for those who managed to talking and painting as if someone's there, but I know it's not really working. Okay, maybe this will fix it. I don't know. Uh, Frustrating. Okay, I'm just going to try with my cellular data. Maybe that'll help.